Good morning, everyone. For a couple of a session from now, we will be looking into the postural analysis. So the objectives of the session is to dwell into the concept of a posture along with the understanding of a principles of a postural analysis. The contents of the postural analysis has been divided into 4 different sessions. The session 1 will be covering today, which includes definition, characteristics of human posture, types of a posture, and methods of a posture analysis, specifically concentrating on the qualitative analysis. In session 2, we will be talking about the quantitative analysis and the postural control, followed by in the session 3, we will be having a demonstration of the postural analysis, and in the session 4, there will be a practice session. Now, let's move on to defining the posture. Now, when we say the definition of the posture, a posture is about how we hold ourselves, whether we are standing, sitting, or lying down. It's all about our body's position in the space. Now, there are 2 important parts that you will have to consider while defining the posture. The first one is about how our body stays stable even when we are not moving much, like when we sit or when we stand still. Second part of the definition of the posture is about how well our muscle work together to keep us steady when we are active. That is whether our muscles work together to while we are walking, lifting the things, or doing anything else where our muscles team up to help us stay balanced or in control. Now let's look into what are the unique characteristics of the posture, like a human posture. Now, as we all know, that we stand upright on 2 feet. Okay, this means we have a 2 points touching the ground. Therefore, human posture is referred as a bipedal stance, which are bound at the front by the line connecting the toes and behind by the heel of our foot. Okay. Now, there are advantages and disadvantages to these bipedal stance. Okay. Now, advantages to talk about: it frees up our upper extremities, allowing us to perform both the small and the large movement with our arms and hands. However, as I mentioned, there are some disadvantages to that. Standing this way increases workload on our heart and puts more stress on our spine when compared to the quadruped position occupied by the animals. Now, additionally, it also leads to a smaller base of support, and there is a constant shift in the center of a mass because of based upon the activities what we are doing across. Now, next we will be looking into the types of the posture. Now, posture has been categorized into static and the dynamic posture. Okay, as depicted over here. Now, first let's talk about the static posture. Now, static posture is about how we hold our body when we are actively not doing anything, like when we stand, when we sit, or when we lie down. It's about alignment of our body and its segment, okay, in a still position. Now, static posture will give us an insight into the it gives us a insight into how our body naturally aligns, itself when the body is at rest. Okay. Now, therefore, when we say a static analysis, posture analysis, it is observing the position of our head, shoulder, spine, pelvis, and limbs without any movement. Now, let's shift our focus to the dynamic posture. Now, this is how our body adjusts and moves during the activities like walking, running, bending, or reaching. Now, it's about the coordination of a muscle to maintain the balance efficiently while we or our body is in motion. Now, dynamic posture is important because it shows how well our body adapts to different movements and tasks throughout the day. It involves constant adjustments of our body's alignment and stability as we move and perform the activities. Now, going forward, we will be mostly mostly looking into the static postural analysis. Now, let's look into what are the different methods of a static postural analysis. Now, postural analysis method has been categorized into a qualitative method and the quantitative method, both its own advantages and disadvantages. Let's see the qualitative analysis. Okay, qualitative posture analysis, as the name suggests, it involves describing the posture or describing the quality or nature of the posture through the words. Usually it is done by visual inspection. That means direct observation of the patient through the naked eye. Basically, we are trying to describe the posture through the naked eye to see if there is any deviation from the normal alignment of a body and its segment. That means we observe the alignment of a key body parts, be it be a head, shoulder, your spine, pelvis, or a lower extremity, while the individual is standing, sitting, or lying down. Okay. Now, your qualitative analysis by the visual means does not require any special equipment. So hence it is cheaper and easily accessible in your clinical setup, okay, where the time and resources are limited. However, there are some disadvantages of this method. That is accuracy of the results of the postural analysis by the visual inspection depends upon the expertise of the person who is analyzing the posture. So he should have a very good knowledge about what is the normal posture looks like. Okay. Now, also, in addition to that, based upon the experience or based upon the knowledge of the person, there's a risk of a selective reporting. That means sometimes there is a possibility the deviation may be overlooked or misinterpreted or underlooked. Okay. Now, to overcome this disadvantages to a certain level, although not completely, there are different tools that we can use in the clinical setup, like plumb line and the grid system. Now, these tool aids to provide a objective measurement and the visual reference point, helping us to standardize our observation and reduce the bias. Now, let's look into the plumb line. Okay, the word is derived from the Latin word plumbum. Okay, it basically means a weighted string is hung down from the fixed point. So the posture plumb line is an imaginary straight line from the top of the head to the floor. That means plumb line analysis, in a plumb line analysis, perfect posture means the line should pass through our ears, shoulder, hip, knee, and ankle, stacking up along this line. Okay. Now, next one is a grid analysis. Okay. Now, as you see in this picture, okay, it's a chart which is consisting of a smaller grids, okay, made by the vertical and the horizontal lines. It is often in the form of a floor mounted or a wall mounted. Okay. Now, it provides a visual reference point for assessing the alignment and asymmetry of the body. So basically, it allows us to observe the posture if any asymmetries are present in the limbs, joint angles, or overall body posture. Now, grid is particularly useful in identifying the right and left discrepancies that may not be apparent through the simple visual observation. So that is it for today's session. So we have looked into what is posture, what are the characteristics of a human posture, what's the types of the posture, and specifically covering the qualitative analysis. Now, this is the reference for today's session. Any clarification, if you have regarding this, you can email me at my official email ID, or you can meet me up at my office during the working hours. In our next session, we will be looking into the quantitative analysis variants along with the postural control mechanism. Now, before we join in our next class, all of you have to go through the content shared at your email. That's it for today's session.